WFS 19 in Madrid. Thank you for your attending and listening, and hopefully it will be very helpful for you to understand Chinese football market in the next 40 minutes. So my name is Chen, and I'm from Ecosports. We do sports business media and marketing in China. So next 40 minutes, these four distinguished speakers and I will give you very valuable and important insight about China sports, football, market and business. So firstly, please allow me to introduce these four distinguished speakers. The first one, lady first, Zheng Yanyu from All Star Partners. Let's welcome. She is the co-founder and vice president. And Mr. Sergi Torrents, the managing director of Great China of LaLiga. Welcome. And Mr. Lucas García, the president and chief manager of management for athletes. And the last one, Ramiro Llanos. He's a director in the Argentina Football Association in China office. So it's because we only have 40 minutes, so I just ask the first round of the questions. The first questions from for Sergi. Sergi, you've been to China for several years, and not only in sports, you work in China, and you because the last time I saw you was another event in China last year, and you are very knowledgeable about China culture, football, and can you just give us some insight about China's sports market if for a foreigner who would like to involve China's sports market? Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. Yes, I've been living in China from 2005. So during all those years, I've been seeing how the industry has evolved. And I mean, as all the foreign markets are always complicated, but I would give like just a couple of advices. No, first of all, it's a very big country, so it is important first of all to have a very clear plan, a plan determined by data, and I would say it is important to focus in a special zone that you have determined that it's the best according to your plan or the characteristics of your property. This is the first piece of advice that I would give, and then the second one, be ready to adapt, because it's a country that it changes very fast. It's continuously evolving. Policies are changing very fast, so you need to be also adapting to that changes. I think that these are the two main advices that I would give to all of you.
Thank you so much. And no, because China is so big and we got a huge football fan base, but probably because our poor performance from our own national team, so we just entered the World Cup for only one times in 2002. So in China is a bit weird that we got lots of fan base to follow another international football teams. For instance, Argentina. So when I was in the middle school, my geography teacher said Argentina is the farthest country from China. But it's very interesting. In China we got huge amount of Argentina football fans. So that's a question for Ramiro, who just run the Argentina Football Association China office. So why this reason? Why more and more Chinese fans would like to follow Argentine football?
Difficult question to answer. I think I have an idea that the Chinese fan follow the star players and then follow the team. And China and Argentina have a historical coincidence that the first time China had TV rights, World Cup TV rights, was in World Cup Mexico in 1986 and dominated by Diego Maradona and Argentina winning. And I think this important thing about the relationship between Chinese public and Argentina. And it's possible it's answer to you, I think.
Okay, lovely, thank you. Because yeah, we got like not only for the national football, because let me show you guys a very interesting information about, because in around the 1990 the CCTV, which is the Chinese national sports channel, started broadcast the Italian Serie A league. And at that time, you know, the Argentine footballers plays amazing football in that time. So that's the reason why, you know, more and more, you know, Chinese fans, you know, start to understand why this, Argentina has a, you know, the high quality footballer, and they will follow these teams, the club and also the national teams. So very interesting. So, and I know that the AFA launched the China office this year, right?
Yeah.
So what's the business strategy for this kind of office in China?
There are 4 keys to explain the strategy. And first of all, the digital operation. The first AFA do in China was started accounts, Chinese social media accounts, and working continuously. And two step was a fan community, build fans community offline and online. And so first of all, the partnerships. Before World Cup, the last World Cup, AFA signed 4 sponsors, and that deals was very important to AFA and exposure to in China. And the last but not least is the licensing products and e-commerce that lady explained better and better than me.
Okay, so you passed the question to the beautiful lady,
yeah.
right? Okay, because I searched some statistics on the e-commerce of China football market, and I saw that AFA launched e-commerce platforms 4 months ago, right? And I saw that I compared the sales, with you know, high quality European football clubs, which launched the e-commerce platform in the Alibaba platform, in the Suning platform. And I saw that the sales quite good. Sales quite good when you compare the reputation and compare the scale and fan base. So very interesting that why this e-commerce of AFA becomes so successful in China market, because I know that All-Star Partners is helping the elite international sports organizations to do the business development in China market. So Yanyu, can you share some insight about the e-commerce? I think it's very, you know, everybody has a curiosity about that, because we care about how to make money from the China market, right?
Okay, thank you very much, Diandian. My name is Yanyu. I'm a co-founder of All-Star Partner, and among our clients, Argentina Football Association is the most important client that we have, and President Tapia from AFA also named us the AFA China office since the beginning of this year. So we launched the e-commerce project for Argentina Football Association in this April, both in Youzan platform and the Taobao platform of Alibaba. So we started this April, and quite to our surprise and our proud that the first days were already shown a very good sales figure. So until now, very few European football club launch e-commerce in China. There are maybe 5, 6. And some of them started quite early, like 4 or 5 years ago, like Real Madrid. And the e-commerce sales of almost all European football club hasn't gone very well in the past years. I would say the main reason is they are not really making an e-commerce business in China. They just open a shopping window in Chinese platform, and all the product, all the operation is still in Europe. They ship the product from Manchester, and the user experience is different. China is now the most advanced e-commerce market in the world, more than United States. Diandian and I, we both realized, like, how long haven't you go to a supermarket?
20 hours.
Not in China.
Okay. Can't remember, sorry.
I haven't gone to supermarket maybe 3 to 4 years. I buy everything online. And what's the longest time you can stand to wait for your package?
Probably 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days is already very annoying for us. Like the second day, or it's usually when we got our package. But imagine a lot of European football clubs, when they're doing their e-commerce and shipping from Manchester, the package got 20 days later. And then many of the times the product got stuck in the customs. And then an email in English is sent to the buyer. And a lot of Chinese people don't know how to fill the form in English as such. So what we do different for Alpha is we design all the product in China. We make a new product, new design, not including the shirt, because Alpha has the Adidas shirt, but we do everything else out of the shirt. We make mugs, we make umbrella, we make pillow, we make mate tea, and we sell in China. Everything is produced in China according to Chinese preference and sell in China. So the user experience is very good. And I want to share our 2-star product till now. One is very beautifully designed mug with Argentina blue color, but with a golden touch, like the golden color. And another star product we have is mate. The past a few months, we sell almost already 3,000 mate box. Every box has 10 tea bag. And Diandian has also tried our mate. So, you know, in China there are almost no Argentinian immigration, but still we sell mate to Chinese people. And 3,000 already. They have no idea. The only thing they know about mate is Messi take it, and Griezmann take it, Umtiti take it, everybody take it. So they want to try what Messi do. So what's the learning from this? Because I show our star product mate and our star product the mug with a golden color touch to our Spanish partner, and they say this mug will never sell, nor one mug in China, because like a golden is a color that super whelms the Spanish people. But you know how we like those colors. So that's why I would say starting from the product level, we already make the product according to Chinese consumers' taste. And all the operation happen in China, not only guarantee the user experience, but also make the cost down. So we don't have to import, export, like move the product to Europe, then back to China, because most of the product are fabricated in China. And what we do also a lot is enhance the fans' communication and the fans' engagement. So with Alpha, we are in Chinese platform like Weibo, TikTok, Dongqiudi, and Toutiao, etc. And we create a direct communication with the fans. The fans know what they tell us. Really, every week we are making report to Alpha, and what the fans tell us about how they feel of Argentina, we tell Alpha president. Every week, every month, we make the report, and these things are learned by him. And what the fans say, affect their decision back on how they invest in Chinese markets. So the fans feel even more engaged because they feel it's really a family-like. So they can, although it's another country, but they really feel it's their national team. But I would say if China play, when there's no Chinese player or Chinese team, we have all the following, but always when China play, there's no other country. In the end, it's a local market. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Very, valuable insight. If you bring some, give them as a souvenir to our guests, I think it will be more valuable.
I could invite a mate tea to everybody later.
Remember, guys. Okay, next question from Lucas. Because, in China, Chinese fans is quite different. Sometimes they follow the team club. The loyalty is sometimes, have a tight connection to the player, the high-quality footballer. I'll give you an example. Like last season, after Cristiano Ronaldo transferred to Juventus, in 24 hours, the Weibo of Juventus official account gained 1 million new followers. And at the same time, the Real Madrid lost the same amount. So yeah, it's like sometimes the Chinese fans, they would like to follow the athletes, right? For example, this year just lasted 2 weeks ago, FIBA World Cup finished in Beijing, and Spain got the champions, and Ricky Rubio, he got a MVP. And probably he is the most, the impactful foreign basketball players during that tournament. So you are the agent for Ricky Rubio. Can you just say how to gain this impact and benefit from the Chinese market? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for coming. So yeah, you're right. We had two different experiences with Ricky when he played the Olympic Games in 2008. Back in the days, 11 years ago, so no social media that active. And we got these two different experiences. Back then, he was 17. It was a boom for every Chinese fan. But we didn't listen. We thought those Chinese fans will be engaged and that he did his job and we'll get all these endorsements and all this activity in the Chinese market, and it didn't happen because we weren't listening. We weren't listening what they were looking for, and we thought what American or Spanish fans will look from him will be the same that Chinese market was looking for him, and we were wrong. And that translated to no revenue in terms of any sponsorship or any marketing agreement. So what we did these 11 years after, and thank God we did a really good performance in this last World Cup, we found a local partner. We found a Chinese marketing company that had experience in both in Europe and in China, and that understood that even you have a good product, you need to listen to your audience. And as everybody said in this panel, China's a really big market, but if you just gotta go there and try to impose your rules or try to sell your product because it's good, you're gonna fail after fail, because you need to listen what they're looking for and adapt your product to what they're trying to buy. So again, after 2008, we adapted to China. We found a local partner. We did a strategy to go to market, and now we are collecting all these sponsorships and agreements, and we're engaging to these fans. We're growing accounts on Weibo and Chow and things that I never thought about before. These last 4 years, we were preparing for this moment, and now, next year is 2020 Olympics in Japan. So all these Asian fans, if we take care of them during this year, they're going to keep engaged with the national team of Spain, that, again, is a gold medal World Cup. And, of course, around my clients, that they want to give back and they want to understand not only how to take care of their fans, but also, of course, how to make, that money off the court that, improve their efficiency.
Thank you so much. Very valuable. And for Sergi, I know the LaLiga launched the China office. It's maybe the earliest when you compare another 4 top European football leagues. And you got some cooperation with the CSL, and you involved into the youth academy, and you partner with some TV to do some entertaining drama, something to help the La Liga to do more various branding strategy. So what's the reason for doing this kind of strategy, and what's the key learning from that? Thank you.
Well, the main reason is because for LaLiga, it's very important. China is together with US. I would say that is the most important territory outside of Spain. US is a market that is like very, very important in terms of the incomes and in media, and is a very stable country. China is from 2015, thanks to the football reform pushed by the government, became a very important market. No, for us now, China is a mature market in terms of incomes, almost at the same level of US, but with a bigger potential growth. So that's why we are doing such an effort. No? You mentioned like that we are doing different activities. What we do is we try to build a brand in the market, and we try to explore new areas. It's not everything about the commercial part and our traditional business, which is like selling the media rights of all the professional clubs. We want to give more value to our partners, no? To our broadcasting partner and to other partners we have through these activities. No? For us, it's been very important in the last 2 years, this collaboration we have with Chinese Football Association. Basically, what we are doing is we're helping Chinese football and the national teams in a youth level to compete and to better perform. We create a center in Madrid, and different youth national teams are competing there. And during all the year, a good example is the under-16 team of China that last week went through the classifying for the Asian club. It was 8 years since a team from China was not classifying for the final round of the Asian club, so it's a big thing, and it's a team that it's been trained by us. No?
Oh.
So we're trying to create these emotional links, because our competition is in Spain, but the market China is far away, is in China. No? So creating these emotional links, this is an example, or having a player like Wu Lei, it helps us to grow in that market. That's why we are doing all these kind of things you mentioned as well. TV drama, we're exploring, because we are a sports property, but sport is entertainment at the same time. So we are creating entertainment contents in order to reach a bigger audience. So we're trying, as I said at the beginning, ours is a mature business already, so we are trying to now to expand and to have more influence in the market, and try to be this second competition after the local clubs, after the Chinese local clubs. If someone is from Beijing, it will have a Beijing Go1 as a first club, naturally. And we would like our clubs to be that second choice, no? And that is the most important goal of all of that.
So yeah, I'm a Manu fan, but right now I'm the half Espanyol fans because of Wu Lei. So yeah, you mentioned Wu Lei. What's the impact? What's the difference after he transferred to Espanyol and play in La Liga? What have changed?
Well, obviously, the level of interest of our competition raised. Also, the audiences of all the matches of Espanyol are followed at the same level or bigger level than teams as Barcelona and Real Madrid. That I would like to remember that these two teams are the favorite teams in China. They're the number 1 and number 2 favorite teams for the Chinese people is Barcelona and Real Madrid, included the Chinese teams. So right now, Espanyol having Wu Lei, in terms of levels of interest and in audiences, is at the level of these two. So that's how important it is for the club, and obviously for the league in terms of audiences is also very important.
Okay, thank you. So just mentioned Barcelona, and Barcelona, is like nearly 10 years ago, you launched the Chinese Weibo social official account. At that time, probably maybe the first one that focused on the digital marketing business in China as a European top football club. At that time, Yanyu, you work for Barcelona Football Club, and you operate the social media digital things at an early stage. So right now you're already development for nearly 10 years. So what's your key learning from that work? Because it's very important that because of Chinese fans, the majority of them cannot attend to the stadium to see the game physically. So the first impact from the club, so the way they engage, interact is the official online platform, right?
Yes, I think in the past decade, everything has changed into digital, and both in Western countries and in China. And the Chinese young people consume digital content just like the Western young generations. But the difference is we have our own platforms and we have our own consumer behavior and preference. Like, for example, in 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, when I started first with FC Barcelona's first digital presence in China, at that time is Tencent Weibo, that already died today. So, but Sina Weibo is still alive and is still one of the very important platform. Maybe here a lot of people have heard of it. But 10 years ago or 8 years ago, having been in Sina Weibo means everything. You have reached to every audience. But today, if you are in Sina Weibo, you have reached maybe 30% of your online users, because there are certain profile of users who consume content in Sina Weibo, because Sina Weibo is a platform for a lot of news and gossip, and a lot of female users. But other platform, for example, the newly rising TikTok. Actually, TikTok, probably a lot of audience here know about TikTok, but actually TikTok is the Western version of a Chinese platform called Douyin, and actually that company is China. Like before it launched TikTok in the Western world, it already succeeded big in China. And in Douyin, it's all the different way of content. But for example, very interestingly, the platform that succeeded very big in Western countries, Instagram, there's no such Instagram Chinese version. Yeah, because if we share photos, it would be in Weibo or in WeChat. We don't have a photo application. So Chinese digital world is very fragmented and is moving very fast. Like in the Western world, it has been Facebook, Instagram, and it has always been Facebook, Instagram. But in China, the platform that succeeded today probably die tomorrow. And tomorrow we will have another way of consuming content. So it's very important that you stay up to date to the newest trend in China, so as to grab the audience attention, especially the new young generations, I would say.
Yeah, I strongly agree with that, because it's not about it. The platform is dynamic, but the things you operate in any platform is dynamic. You need to be innovative, creative for the content, for the plan, but firstly, you have to understand what the fans needs. It's very important that you fill the gap between the needs and demand. So the fans, the profile of the fans is very important when you understand it. So Lucas, what's the fans profile, and what's the difference between the Chinese fans and another maybe Spanish fans or NBA fans from Ricky Rubio?
I mean, it doesn't depend on the sports. Like, we had this discussion with Yanyu a lot of times when I'm trying to be super analytic about demographics and who's following who and what they like and what percentage of female and male, what times they connect to Weibo and Sochaux and TikTok, and if they like live content or like pictures or I don't know, whatever. We try everything. And again, you cannot impose your form of business in China. You need to understand what they're looking for. And then that comes from hearing. So we thought that they wanted gifts, and then we discovered they want content. They want to see what the athlete, regardless if it's Cristiano Ronaldo or LeBron James or whoever, sportsman, they want to know what they do at their home, what they eat, how they interact with their families, with their friends, with their fans. So I think we are going to do the process backwards. Like, when you need to understand what they're looking for, and then you got to tell your athlete how to present himself in China. And again, for my athletes, we do a strategy for Europe and the US, and it's completely different for what we do in China. Because again, it's different game, different social media. There's no Instagram, no Facebook, no rules we've been used to play. And then you need to understand or learn new rules. And that means Chinese fan wants to be the first knowing that. And you need to be the first to know what they're using. Because as they said, the social media they used 1 year ago is dead. And the social media that is going to have 20 million users and LaLiga is going to be using is going to be happening today. And tomorrow is going to be launching, and they're going to kill it. So you need to be up to date. You really need to be really flexible, listen, and then adapt your strategy to that new trend that's going on in China, because it can be your next big success.
Yeah, sounds challengeable, right? If you want to achieve succeed. And for Sergi, is there any challenge or difficulties that the Liga China is facing in the market?
Challenge a lot, no, but I mean the most difficult thing is again it's an evolving market, and then you need to be very flexible, and this is the biggest challenge. We are a very mature property. We are like right now in La Liga, I think we are almost 600 employees. In China, we are the biggest office. We have 2 people in Beijing, 6 in Shanghai, 1 in Hong Kong. You have to follow certain behaviors, no, corporate behaviors. But sometimes in China it's complicated because you need to adapt very fast. No, I think that this is something that we're doing really well compared to other properties that has the same size that we have. But again, it's the biggest challenge because you really need the will of doing things in this market. Because if you don't really have that will, that strong will, if you are so-so, you're not going to do anything. If you really want to succeed, you need a very, very strong will from all the organization to do the things, to make the things happen there. Like, again, I mentioned the people that is working in China, but in our organization, we have Chinese people working in Madrid, and we have different departments. We have an international department. We have people devoted only to the Chinese market. In digital department, the same. In communication department, the same. So there is this will to make things happen in China, and I think that this is a key of what we are achieving over there right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And for Yanyu, Chinese sports practitioner or company, they always make mistakes, to be honest, because they have no clear understanding about what the global sports market is, and they don't know how to obey the regulation and rules. So in your opinion, because you work for the AliSports for a while, and you partner with lots of Chinese sports companies, so is any common mistakes and misunderstanding from the China sports companies?
The Chinese sport company or the foreign properties in China?
Chinese.
I think there are still a lot of cultural difference that one need to understand the way the other works, and I think it really need to be very open-minded to find a solution that it's probably in the middle of like in order to achieve a common understanding and find a way to work together. Because if both parts are very strict with their strategy and or their way of working, probably it would be very difficult to find a way to launch a business in China sometimes, and vice versa, like a Chinese company abroad also.
Okay, thank you so much. It's very useful and helpful. I guess the majority of our guests is looking for some advice and suggestions. So because of the time, so we only have the one round of the questions. So I just give you 4 guys one questions. Can you just use a simple word or sentence to give advice or suggestion for people who would like to involve China's football or sports market in the future? From Ramiro? Thank you.
Basically, take seriously. When people heard China, people think will be easy and will be and an easy way to succeed. And China has your his rules, and it's very important take seriously with local agencies. It's so important that for my experience.
Thank you so much. Sergi?
Well, be ready to suffer. Strong will and evolve. That.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I write you down.
Be flexible, adapt fast, and try to capture the more value you can in the time you're doing business there, because it's going to be short.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think Sergi mentioned so much about suffering, so I'll bring. No, what Sergi said is completely the truth, because I think all the foreigners coming to China, the first thing they learn is anything is possible, but nothing is easy. This completely summarizes what happened in China. And about the suffer, Diandian, these days we are in Spain, but every morning we wake up separately. No, we're not even in the same hotel. At 5 a.m. working first according to Chinese calendar about dealing with the company in China, right? Yeah. So yeah, but to have a continuity and bring some energy to the difficulty Sergi mentioned, I would say embrace the excitement, because I've been living in Spain for 5 years, and I have and Barcelona has been and still be my favorite city in the world. But at the age of 26, 27, I decided to come back to China, because I want to do what I'm going to say, embrace the excitement, because we are young, and it's not about the result. Of course, we want to achieve good result, but I think if there's a chance to experience a different thing, and this different thing can open up to very different opportunities, I will embrace it.
Thank you so much, because as just 4 distinguished speakers said, Chinese market is still, you had a high potential, and you definitely got some business commercial opportunity to monetize your resource, your intellectual property. But at first, you should have a really good understanding about this kind of market, about the consumers, the users in this market, to understand the culture, the history, and hopefully in the future it will be tons of business opportunity in Chinese markets for all you guys. So because of the time, so we have to finish this panel. But I guess you can just use our official app to communicate with all of us, and to ask some more questions about the China's sports market and football business in the later. So thank you for your attending and listening again, and hopefully next year we will see you all guys in the Football World Summit in China. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Bye bye.